for your views. I'll request Sampath sir now. Obviously, the problem of plastic in urbans has been far larger for far longer, and there have been a lot of solutions which have been tried, tested. Some of them have failed, some of them have succeeded, and therefore one of the things which even the department has been encouraging is convergence, and the advisory for that was also issued some time back. So would like to hear about your experiences in what has worked in convergence. What should we do to make sure that things happen in a converged manner and there are optimal utilization of resources available?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Actually, in our state, we have solid waste processing centers where this wet waste is being converted into compost and dry waste is being segregated further. As you all know that segregation at source is not possible in rural areas, and we could reach by all our efforts, though we have army of people working in the field. So far we have reached only 35% source segregation. So still our journey is continuing. We'll reach, our target is by October 2nd, we have to get this target. But anyway, our efforts are still on. So because of that particular thing, the secondary segregation would be very, very important for the segregation of this plastic. There we have our own systems. Every solid waste processing center will get small amount of plastic every day. So to make this entire thing viable, the only problem we are facing is transportation. So no recycler is coming for to purchase this plastic which is there in the villages because of the transportation issues. And even we cannot transport this plastic waste from each and every village to one point where it is also not economically viable for the organization. So there we had a thought that every ULB, so as per the Government of India's instructions as well as Niti Aayog's recommendations, now every urban area has to construct one MRF, material recovery facility. There we tied up all nearby villages with the MRFs, and we have introduced one tractor for the periodical transportation of nearby villages plastic waste to this MRF after the complete segregation. Now it is working in only 12 ULBs. Now our target is almost 32 ULBs where this feasibility of transportation is there. As Madam said, we are also using the basket of solutions. Like this is one solution. There are villages which are remote in nature, which we cannot access. And there we have given the local solution like shredding of this plastic. 268 plastic shredders were given. So periodically, yearly once a transportation is planned. So there, that problem is also solved in that particular villages. And the other areas where we have 2 waste to energy plants running in our state. So nearby 100 kilometers, all the plastic waste material and as well as RDF is being linked to the waste to energy plants, and some area is being linked to the existing cement factories. Those cement factories are more in number that are being located in 4 districts where, and the other problem is last year we have done this plastics Ramadan. There we tried to link with the cement factories with the Government of India help, though because of their economic viability, cement factories not taken much load from the villages because of this interrelated roads, everything. So not viability of the transportation cost also. There we have only 2 cement factories. We have linked to that cement factories. And as you know, they should have the co-processing treatment facility also. Those cement factories there, they cannot take this plastic directly to their factories. They need to change some mechanical structures in the cement factories. So we are using all the solutions. And recently we have introduced almost 8 months back. We have introduced one plastic to fuel plant in Guntur Municipal Corporation. There the financial viability is very good, and it's giving profits for last 2 months. Every vehicle in the Guntur Municipal Corporation is getting fuel from the plastic waste fuel. So this plant now we are planning in 13 places. We have completed this survey. And now we are linking this particular plant to nearby villages and as well as urban areas. So we are using every opportunity to counter the plastic problem. And everybody should understand the quality of the plastic which is there in the villages. So as you know that the plastic which is there in the villages is very, very low quality and obviously below 40 microns or 50 micron plastics. So even it is not viable to even collect the plastic from the villages also, from households also. So that's why if we can have a facility to store at least for 2 months or 1 month, then the transportation facilities can be scheduled periodically so that this viability can be bring up from the villages. This is from our side. And we are using all the solutions. And on the other side, we are also trying to reduce the single-use plastic in the villages by now we have completed all resolutions from the urban areas. Now we are starting taking resolutions from the rural areas. And a joint action force is also working both from rural and urban areas, because the plants which are preparing this low micron plastic covers that are there in the village areas, not in urban areas. So to enforce the control of this particular menace, we need to have rural officers also into the board. That's why our government has issued GO by forming joint action committees, both from rural and urban areas, and as well as even commercial tax and labor department also, we have officers in the committee. Now that committee is actively working, and we have banned completely in 2 cities before this COVID, after the particularly in Tirupati and Vijayawada. Now after the COVID situation, now we have relaxed. Now again we are trying to impose the ban on certain cities. So with the kind cooperation of Government of India, we are also utilizing the 16 lakh rupee fund for the block. So that entire thing is in place. This is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And also, interestingly, what sir mentioned, that even if there is no commercial viability of some of the plastics, because it is important to know that plastic is not one criteria. There are 7, 8 different types of plastics. And usually the plastics which is commercially viable to recycle, that anyway goes into recycling. So a lot of effort needs to be put in, which is technically viable but not commercially viable. That is where the effort should come in. Another thing which I'll request the ministry also to look at, there are certain types of plastics which are even today, there are no feasible technical solutions to recycle, whether it's things like certain types of bakelite, polystyrene, etc. So how do we work at the supply end of it with the brands, with the Ministry of Environment, EPR, etc.? How do we use to choke off the supply? Do we have time for some questions?
No, we don't. We have to start on FSM before lunch. No?